Good morning, everyone. My name is MightyStream. Today is October the 8th. I'm going to do your Just for Today in a meditation. I'm brought to you by Hope Through Navigation, and this is our H.O.O.D Recovery Services. You may reach me at recoveryofhope21@gmail.com. Hope you're doing well this morning. Let's go ahead and get into that meditation. Grab your books if you need them. Hopefully the screen is viewable by you. The title of the October 8th Just for Today meditation, a new pattern of living. We suspect that if we do not use what we have, we will lose what we have. Basic text, page 78. Addiction gave a pattern to our lives and with it a meaning, a dark, diseased meaning, to be sure, but a meaning nonetheless. The Narcotics Anonymous recovery program gives us a new pattern of living to replace our old routines. And with that new pattern comes a new meaning to our lives, one of light and hope. What is this new pattern of living? Instead of isolation, we find fellowship. Instead of living blindly, repeating the same mistakes again and again, we regularly examine ourselves, free to keep what helps us grow and discard what doesn't. Rather than constantly trying to get by on our own limited power, we develop a conscious contact with a loving power greater than ourselves. Our life must have a pattern. To maintain our recovery, we must maintain the new patterns our program has taught us. By giving regular attention to these patterns, we will maintain the freedom we found from the deadly disease of addiction and keep hold of the meaning of recovery has brought to our lives. Excuse me. Just for today, I will begin a new pattern in my life, the regular maintenance of my recovery. Let's take a moment of silence, followed by the we version of the Serenity Prayer. God, grant us the serenity to accept the things we cannot change, the courage to change the things that we can, and the wisdom to know the difference. Just for today, please and thank you. That's a beautiful meditation. So if it sounds like I'm a little bit winded, I guess that I am. And so just pray for me. When a person uses their gifts, right? And mine is oratory mostly. Well, that's how I believe my higher power delivers my new pattern of living, right? It's oratory. You struggle with your lungs a lot of the time. You know what I'm saying? That lower destructive power comes against the things you need in order to be able to use your gifts in your new pattern of living. So thank you for your prayers. So what we're talking about here is what I just said. You have to use what you have or you will lose what you have. I started, I can't remember the first time I actually did a voiceover for the radio, but I was young and I did it for an organization that focused on young people, and they wanted to do a commercial. And I remember being told at that time that I could pick 3 of my friends that needed to make some money and would enjoy doing a voiceover. And it was so exciting. It was just so exciting to hear my voice on the radio and hear my friend's voice on the radio. But the first time that I can remember, I would say maybe teaching, uh, I would say toddler, not a toddler, but I was in kindergarten. I was very young. And there's been times where life just happened and I decided you're not spiritually fit at this point to even try and help another human being. You need to just be quiet, exercise some silence. I mean, my goodness, you have a soft voice. It's a good voice for radio, but why don't you just shut up? I was beating myself up. And it took a while for me to begin to trust and love that gift again. I almost lost it. I almost lost it. And I just want to tell you that the things that you've discovered about yourself, or maybe you've rediscovered about yourself since you've been in recovery, your passions. Some people would say the things that you're created to do. If you're discovering that again, go ahead and take the first step and move out in your faith and use that rejuvenation that recovery has given you. Our new pattern of living is about fellowshipping. Our new pattern of living is about being able to regularly examine ourselves, free to keep what's helping us to grow and discard what's not. Our new pattern of life is about finding out what you're good at doing and doing that and using that to sustain yourself. Now, don't get me wrong. I know we say self-sufficiency is a lie and no man is an island. That's true, but we're also fully self-supporting. We have so many gifts. I was talking to a fellow recovering addict, and we happen to be very, very close. And the discussion, because we're having like what I would say, an art show in our community, and I'm submitting some pieces of work for that. It's going to happen later on. Later on, what? I've lost my days. Later on today, so I need to make sure I get my work there. So the point is that we were discussing some pieces of work that we were putting up on the wall, and she was explaining to me that these beautiful, they look like to me masterpieces. And she was explaining to me that these particular items were created from an unhoused individual who sat in the park and created these beautiful pieces of work, thinking about hope, thinking about hope through navigation, thinking about the love and concern that they have had poured out to them through other individuals. And this person gifted these masterpieces to her. And we were just astounded looking at this artwork. Tears just welled up in my eyes because we in recovery and people in general, now this applies towards everyone, but in particular, the people in recovery, look, I'm telling you, you have something that is so special and so unique about you. You have a gift, and maybe several, that maybe you've tapped into them a little bit, and you know that you're gifted naturally. Like, you have the grace to sing, you have the grace to dance, you have the grace to paint, to create art. Uh, doing voiceovers and using my voice, oratory skill is something that has been given to me as a gift. It's a grace. And I almost let it slip away. Self doubt, fear, financial issues, just kind of, taking care of other people's needs instead of pursuing my own. Even my, education, I believe, causes me not to be able to do my pursuit of degrees. Is causing me not to be able to do some of the things that I am really passionate about. What is it? What is it you have discovered or rediscovered within the boundaries of your newfound way of living? What are those things? Because I have to emphasize that uh, we want to make sure that we're applying spiritual principles in the spirit of step 12 in all of our affairs. So what is that you do well? My aunt, my husband has an aunt that can make some of the most beautiful floral arrangements. That is a gift that I've only seen. I have a sister that does well. I have a niece that does the same thing very well. So 3 people. I've only seen 3 people create something as beautiful as my husband's aunt is able to do. And if she's listening today, she knows who she is, right? And I was amazed when I saw her work. I was amazed. When I looked at her work, I said, this is worth a lot of money. This is a gift that could be used to sustain one's living. What do you have? What is your gift? And if you don't know what it is, don't worry about that, right? Because if you stay clean long enough, your creative mind, your analytical mind, your gifts will start to come to you. I reassure you. I do. I reassure you. If you stay clean and you work the steps with your sponsor and you start this process of discovering who you really are, right? Because that's what this is all about, this meditation, is that we get to do some work, figure out who we are, analyze ourselves, and get rid of the junk that we don't need and increase the positive things that we do need, developing a conscious contact with the loving power greater than ourselves. And part of maintaining this pattern of living, this recovery process, includes one, being an active part of your recovery on a day-to-day basis. In the rooms of recovery, we say participate in your recovery. Participate in it. Whatever that means for you. For some people, it's service work, For others, it's just making sure that after meetings, they make an invitation to whoever, especially the newcomers, and say, let's go get some coffee. Speaking of coffee, I think I'm going to get a cup of coffee and let you go just for right now. Make October 8th the most beautiful day you possibly can. Enjoy your day. Make up your mind to stay in this new pattern of living. We don't have time for relapses. They do happen. And if that's you and you're coming back, I want to say welcome back to you. Now it's time for you to roll up your sleeves and get busy and figure out why the relapse happened. Was it people, places, and things? Probably. Then let's change some of those. But in the meantime, let's also make sure you're participating in your recovery, that you find a sponsor and you're making meetings and you're making sure you share, right? Where you're at. Don't leave a meeting worse than you came to it, right? Make sure you get on with sharing and letting people know exactly where you're at. So when you walk out that door, it's not like it's a secret and it's not going to eat you away like it was, because it's no longer sitting in your brain ruminating all by itself, right? Today, make it a beautiful day. My name is MightyStream. I've enjoyed my conversation with you. Oh, please make sure you reach out to me at recoveryofhope21@gmail.com. And you know what? I don't say this very often. Make sure you like the video. Make sure you subscribe. Hit the bell for notification. And please, most importantly, if you don't do any of those things, most importantly, make sure you share these podcasts, share this channel with someone you know that is personally struggling with their recovery, and do it in a manner that is private for them. You can use the share button on YouTube and send it to Messenger, send it to their phone, their mobile phone as a text message. If you know they're struggling with recovery, they may not have come out to the world that they're an addict. And if that's the case, let's honor their anonymity. But please make sure you don't just keep this goodness that God is doing in your life for yourself. We keep what we have by giving it away. And if we don't use what we have, we will lose it. My name is MightyStream. Make sure you have a beautiful day on purpose. I intend to talk to you later.